Check, check. Yeah, unmute us now. Now that Russ is here.
Hello, hello.
Greetings.
How's your wife?
She is doing better, you know. We've gotten all the shots, the boost, second boost and everything, and you still get the damn stuff.
Oh yeah, it's going around pretty hard right now.
Yeah.
We're just trying not to breathe here in the conference room.
Well, I've been doing that for 2 years.
That explains a lot, Bill.
Yeah, that's right.
Ouch. All right. Well, let's call the meeting to order. It's 3:31. Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty,
justice for all. That's hard to sync when I'm remote.
I have a little team flag behind my desk.
You got one behind you there on the screen too.
Yep, you do.
Oh,
There
you
it
got
is. Okay, roll call. Bill Shute, present. Russ,
I'm here.
Aiden,
I'm here.
and Cynthia. Okay. Do we have any public?
Is there anyone?
Craig.
Oh, Craig's here. Hey, Craig, how's it going?
Okay, well, this is for you, Craig.
This is for you. You heard it before, Craig, but we'll say it again.
If at any point anyone would like to ask a question or make a comment and have joined this meeting with their computer, they can click on the raise hand button located at the bottom of the screen. We will be alerted that they would like to speak. When called upon, please unmute the microphone and ask the question or make comments in no more than 3 minutes. Those who have joined by dialing a number on their telephone will need to press *6 to unmute themselves and then *9 to alert us that they would like to speak. A slight pause will also be offered at the conclusion of each agenda item discussion to allow public members an opportunity to make comments or ask questions. Here we go. Okay. Item 5, seating of alternates. So we are seating, right? We're always seating.
No.
need to.
No need
Oh,
to.
you have-
You're all here.
Okay, so we don't need to.
The
seat.
entire committee and the alternate is here.
Seems like we need more members on the committee.
Well, actually, one of the gentlemen that's working the polling station out here is interested, and
Cool.
I don't think he can come out now, but I
Yeah.
said, hey, because he's thinking about maybe running for the board out of Division 5 at some point, and I said, well, here's your
This is
opportunity.
where all the action is.
You guys see about the same what the board sees, pretty much. This committee less than E&O and budget finance, but pretty much everything goes to the board, comes through a committee one way or the other.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, item number 6, additions, deletions, amendments to the agenda.
Any
have
from
none.
Cynthia?
The only thing is that, again, we don't have anything on the customer survey update. If there's anything you guys want to project in that item, then we can leave it, but otherwise I can bring it back when we do have
More data.
something to stay.
Okay. Any objection to deferring 14 till next month?
Nope.
Okay,
No.
deferred. Anything else?
Nothing.
Okay,
Yeah, nothing for me.
right. Item 7, public comments relating to items not on the agenda. Any public comments? Nothing? Nothing in writing ahead of time either?
No, I'm sitting in for Dawn and there was nothing in writing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Everybody has the May 5th minutes in front of them. If you could take a moment and review, and if I can get a motion to approve.
I have a question about item number 5, seating of alternates. I believe Mrs. Gray was actually seated as a participant, not as an alternate. Isn't that correct?
And
It says Ms.
Technically,
Gray was seated as an alternate.
she was seated as a participating member.
that's how she states it, so I
All right.
don't know if, yeah.
She's
I was
listed as,
seated. I'm still just
Yeah.
an alternate.
she's listed as an alternate on our roll call.
Right. I don't know. It's confusing because it,
Yeah, we'll
She-
talk to Dawn about that.
okay. Other than that, I have no other.
That's been her custom to,
Yes, it's customary to put it.
well, you probably say seated as a voting member
Mhm.
from
Or
alternate.
alternate member, Miss Gray was seated.
Yes, alternate member seated.
That's so clear.
Any other comments? And can I get a motion to approve?
I move we approve the minutes.
Second,
I wasn't there, so I don't feel like I can.
can I second?
You can second,
You
yeah.
can second.
I
yeah.
second, and let's do roll call.
All right, I'll
Do
do
we
roll
still-
call.
Do we still need to do roll call?
If we have one person remote, we do.
Okay.
If we're all here, we don't.
That's
All us-
I'm
all right,
well, the
making me feel bad.
first time because all of us were.
all
actually
are in
attendance.
person, yes.
So
All
I'll
right.
give you COVID, no problem.
Member Hamilton,
I,
member Vernon,
Yes.
Chair Shoot.
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. With the provision that we check with Don on the wording.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Item 9, general manager comments.
Well, I don't have a heck of a lot for everybody today, other than to say that we're gearing up. Hayden and I go down to LAFCO for an interesting meeting next Monday, we hope. And then the next steps in that will be over this summer. We'll be seeing some hopefully a draft report coming out in 2 months or so. We'll see. It's been promised for some time, so we hope to have more information to share on what the process will be for the detachment going forward. But I see there's a bunch of other stuff on the agenda, and that somebody already gave a readout on our town hall, which I wasn't here at the last meeting, so I don't need to update you on that. So I have no further comments. Mark that. How was that? 40 seconds?
Whew.
That's
It's a record.
shortest.
a
shortest ever?
record.
A
for our
record?
General
The
manager.
committee is in shock.
I know. Let the record show. The
I'm
committee.
glad I didn't spend 10 minutes to drive there just to listen to that.
It's Cynthia's show here.
Any questions? Hayden,
No, I have no
Russ?
questions. I'm fine.
moving on. Item 10, committee member comments. We'll start with the away.
I don't have any. Thank you.
Hayden?
The only one I have would be relative to item number 18, so I'll defer till then.
Okay. I have none. Okay. 11, discussion regarding flume project and availability article for publication.
Is that what you?
That came through with Pam Moss, and I believe, did she speak to you, Hayden, about that?
Not yet.
Okay, I didn't have clarity on exactly what that was. I'm presuming that I kind of preempted and put together another press release, because I did think that with the conservation being such a hot topic, this is a great way to say, hey, you may have done everything, but if you haven't done this, you haven't done everything.
Well, and it ticked up a little bit. We had 18 in
Yes.
May.
May?
Yeah.
So
So
we're
Well,
about 500 now.
I definitely think if I'm second guessing what Director Moss was referring to is an op-ed type piece of promoting Flume and Rainbow.
Yeah, so the Village News will run that
Mhm.
pretty much unaltered.
yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a long one, but just
Right.
something that
so
really
I printed those out.
touts
You
the
didn't-
advantage.
guys
And
get-
if we
you
can
didn't
get a
get one?
couple, if we can get a couple of actual users comments. In fact, I know Flume in their most right there. Flume in their most recent communication to me, and I got an email this week that basically said, hey, can you share with us, how the system is working for you?
Right.
I have a lot of input on this, but not a lot of time. I will say I had a little crazy moment on this topic. I kept getting an alert on my Flume saying that I had a leak. And it said that it was at 0.03 gallons per minute. 0.03 gallons. per
You can
minute.
set thresholds on that, can't you?
And, well, I'm sure you can.
Yeah. I get
but
one of those
This
every now
is,
and
this is for leak detection though.
Uh-huh.
The thresholds, usually you'd set a threshold against like if you had all this
A
zone
break or
water
something, yeah.
or something like that. So like if
Sure.
I'm watering the first section of my grove, I can say, tell me if it's more than 18 gallons. per
Right,
minute
let me
or
pull up
something,
mine here.
right? And then you've got a leak because it's going to trip the sensor there. But this one was it was actually lower than a running toilet. I could not figure out. And then when I looked, it had been pinging me for 3 days. It said that for 3 days, this leak has been going on.
I've got 4 leaks detected in May, 3 of which one was 0.03, one's 0.01. And I know where it is. Over by the chicken coop, there's this one spigot
Valve.
that has just a tiny little leak.
So funny you should say that. So what it was a spigot that didn't, it's older spigot
Yeah.
and you have to really
Really
crank
tighten it.
it to get it to stop. And there was a hose that was in the rocks, and where 2 hoses came together, it was
Just
just creating
drip.
water in the rocks, but the hose was on top of it. So when I checked the end of the hose
Yeah.
and I checked the spigot, I didn't see it. And then later on, I moved the hose and I saw the wet spot. And as soon as I adjusted it, then the leak went away. But it knew 0.03.
That is absolutely
That's-
amazing.
I mean, if it
Yeah.
moves your meter, but the thing about it is, if you have 0.01 gallons per minute and 1,440 gallons, 1,400 minutes a day, it's a small amount of money. So tracing it down, especially if a large lot, can be tricky. But you know, I know where mine is. I've got it on my list to go out there and replace this
I
fitting.
probably have a similar constant leak, but because the way my meter is hooked up in my system,
Yeah,
it only moves when the pump
Pump
comes
is on,
to repressurize the
right.
tank. So you come out of the well to the supply well, you have the meter, and then there's a pressure tank that feeds low volume stuff. And anytime the pressure drops below that, it kicks the pump on, which runs
Right.
the flume. And so I have a
You need the meter to be on
half
the
a
other
gallon
side.
every 7 minutes, every 10 minutes.
Ah.
The intermittent.
Well, that's
phase
just
of
because
the
this
pump.
keeps kicking the pump on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
It-
super great for your pump. You
I
should,
know.
you
yeah,
should
well,
figure it out.
So
I gotta trace it in. It's-
Yeah, and the
I know I-
Flume with the new program to where they don't have an annual fee anymore with the Fume Data Labs.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure if you guys talked about Flume Data Labs here before. Have you guys not? Did we talk about last- I wasn't here last month.
Yeah, but I don't think we've.
So Flume is
Yeah,
making, they used to charge $50 a year for the service because that's one of the things we first started, like how are you going to keep the data? Well, they've got so much customer data now that they're making money on
Selling
the
it,
data. And they dropped the $50 a year requirement.
Right.
So they're going to contact all the people here and say, hey, it's free now forever. And whatever, forever. But they have a new thing called Flume Data Labs, which, as you may recall earlier on, I was worried about the data being weaponized for conservation programs. If you go to the Flume Data Labs website, sad to say, there are testimonials from several other water districts are like, ooh, we can keep track of conservation because they can see your internal and external use now. They can figure out based on use patterns, whether it's a sprinkler system that comes on and whatnot. And so I'm glad we don't have your data. I don't know what your data is. Flume might know, but I don't know. And if the state ever came to me and said, ooh, you know what their indoor use is, like I got my May report and my consumption was down like 35%. And I could calculate my indoor GPCD at 43 gallons a day per person, which is pretty good. You know, my outdoor is higher than that, but still, but the city of Escondido doesn't have that data.
Yeah.
And I don't have your data, which is
I
good.
I kept that remark in this press
Right.
release because I still think that's really important for our customers to be assured that that is not something that can be, like you said, weaponized against them. I did make sure that we were stating that it was only $49 and that it was limited to one device per account.
I'm really not sure that, Mark Zuckerberg having my data gives me any more comfort than the Homeland Security having it.
Yeah, listen, it's the data drives this world and what they're doing, I don't know. But they also have the Contact a Pro feature up. So where if you have a leak, it has a list of plumbers in your area that are probably giving them a taste.
But I'm sure
Yeah.
the data that they're selling is neuterized, so it's not trackable to an individual customer.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm sure when you hit the EULA on that, when you
Mhm.
download the app,
Yeah,
you say, I
the
agree.
problem is their
Privacy.
indoor outdoor use is totally bogus for me.
Oh, yeah.
Unless I count a horse as a person.
Right. So obviously you're like an edge case on top of an edge case. You know?
Out there and
but-
doing
but
some-
Irrespective, I think it's great because
Yeah.
but it's up to people. Now, Valley Center MWD recently built out an AMI system. They have the way they have that big flat area in Valley Center. If you go
Yeah.
up there, it's a lot easier
Yeah.
than our area, which is just
Yeah, big,
all up and down. And on June 1st, they had the big I saw they put a thing on Twitter for their customers. Hey, now you can log into WaterSense, I think it is, or yeah, WaterSense is
Yeah.
a third party that builds a website so you can read your own AMI data. I think we should wait a few months, check with Valley Center. Hey, how many of your customers actually signed up for that?
Mhm.
Because the odds are, since now we're giving to people for basically free, we've got 500 customers out of 9,000
Yeah.
who signed up. So a pretty small percentage. And I think it'll be a pretty small percentage who actually go there. Because regrettably, most people just don't care. I mean,
They only care when they get the big water.
when they get the bug, that's a lot of, I mean, Cynthia could probably attest to a lot of times the people who get it is after they come in and say, I had a huge leak. Can you give me a break? We're like, we've been sending you mailers for years telling you,
I'll give
hey,
you a break. Here it is.
yeah, well, here's your break. We're
It
not paying for the damn
ropes
thing.
them in every time.
Well-
I mean, it's basically, this is $50. How much did the leak cost you? This is
Right,
gonna
yeah.
save you
What I
every
asked
single time.
Amelia, who's our grants person, to see if she can find a grant so we can make it free to our customers. 'Cause
Ah,
we get it free to our
Good.
customers.
Yeah.
Then they just have to take the initiative to,
To install it.
install
have
it and
an
do the
internet
thing.
Connection.
but
Is it $50 a year?
nope,
Nope.
$50.
Yeah, they sent the communication on that they were dropping that charge. It was a little cryptic in that
Ah.
that it was, you had to upgrade.
Oh, really?
And whether you had the first flume or the second flume. And I mean, I've been involved with this since I joined the committee. And it wasn't terribly clear to me. I had known that when my battery.
Can you send it to me? Because I didn't get that notice because mine has been on the,
I'm
Yeah.
on,
Two and
I'm
flume
on
program.
flume 1, so
Yeah.
I've never upgraded.
Yeah.
Right. So, but by going to flume 2, you automatically are in the upgrade, and they just in that analytics thing, and you don't have to pay anymore. But
Oh.
it was a little confusing to me. So I texted them, and they're so great on their chat.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
respond
yeah.
very fast. And they were like, oh no, you're all set. You don't have
hopefully
to worry
they'll
about it.
adapt their messaging. It's hard.
I would only
I
on
think
this,
they've been pretty responsive in terms of responding to feedback, positive. feedback.
Absolutely.
yeah, no,
Russ, I just sent you a copy of that because I realized since you're
My neighbor had a flume.
Thank you.
offsite.
The battery, he had trouble with the batteries. So I'm like, Andy, just contact him. They'll set you up. And he never did. Oh, he had a leak in his upstairs shower. Right now, his downstairs flooring is being ripped out. It was a slower leak, but then it got worse and it seeped out underneath their flooring.
Oh,
Started.
it was in
it-
the wall or
It was in the wall and their kitchen cabinets are ripped out. The floor is being ripped out. And it's like, dude, I didn't do it in front of his wife because she would kill him. But you should have kept that flume going. You would have known you had a leak. You could have got at it sooner. Because like you say, teeny tiny leaks.
yeah, you have to be on the notifications. though.
Yeah, well,
We are so
you-
overwhelmed with notifications.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to keep track of those things because I'll see things on my flume and then I'll go and look at it because it's telling me what the flow rate is as I'm watering a certain zone. And I'll look at it and I'm just saying that's about right.
Right,
I
right.
think I'm at 16 or I'm at 18 or whatever the number is. But they do the leak notification with this banner and you have to go in and click on it and then dig for it. So anyway.
Well, I don't know.
Well, on that topic though, about Flume has the data, but the district doesn't. You say the district won't be looking at your data from the Flume Pro system?
Yeah, we should say won't receive any data.
Okay.
Does not have access. or
Right,
something.
yeah.
There's no.
Has no access. Like it's like definitive,
Right.
Okay.
not now, not whatever, just
We don't want
doesn't
it.
have access.
We're Schultze. in
Right,
this
and that's
regard.
part of the contract. right?
I know
There's
nothing.
No,
Yep.
no data.
Many agencies want it. We didn't.
Okay, so back on this topic though, on item 11 was, does this meet the requirement from Director Moss?
Yeah, I think so. She was just kind of, she wasn't real detailed.
Yeah.
And I asked Dawn to talk to her a little about it and we didn't get a ton of detail on it. And, but she said we should talk about it. So here we are talking about it. And then Cynthia put this release out. So we want to get you guys feedback on it. And then, can you email one to Russ or have
I
you?
just did.
Okay,
So
email
he-
Russ.
He's got it. so
Send her
Russ,
your
if you
comments
haven't-
in the next,
Yeah.
before Monday and then.
Yeah, I'm
she'll-
hoping
she'll-
I can send it out on Monday because then I think they have to have everything by Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that.
Okay, I'll probably respond today or tomorrow.
Yeah, that's fine. Just,
Would you gentlemen prefer that I also send you a digital
Email them.
copy?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
and then just get those into her. We're just, we put it on our newsletter all the time. It's on our website and I think that people are now with the drop messaging are picking up on it. And so, it's a great device. I mean, I'm a Flume. I tweeted out my home report mainly because I wanted to show my conservation even though I think my meter's going bad, Escondido. It's the same meter I've had for 23 years. So
Better
they're going to
start.
replace them all. I know. I'm like, oh, actually the reporter from Voice of San Diego hit me up. She says, you sure you want to advertise, you know, that? We should come out and change
That'll
it."
teach you to live in Escondido. If you lived in the Rainbow Water District.
You would already had a new meter. It already would have happened to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody's gonna look at it and by tomorrow, Monday, what's our deadline?
Monday morning.
At the latest.
Monday
Yeah,
morning.
I just emailed that to you guys and I will check back with you if I haven't heard anything by Monday.
Okay, all right.
So I just want to make sure, Bill, your complaint is it detects too small of leaks.
No, I'm saying it is
It doesn't-
very
Yeah.
accurate and
Yeah.
it can drive you a little crazy trying to figure it out. But
It's
now I
as
know
accurate as
that,
your meter is.
yeah, that I need to replace that valve. That, I'm
Yeah.
strong enough to turn it. My wife doesn't turn it quite as
Yeah.
tight.
I
and,
just, some of the, I had a PVC pipe come up and then a threaded valve on it, which I probably shouldn't have used. And it feeds up the chicken coop. And it's just a wet spot right there. And I walk by it all the time and it's like, this is like 30 cents a month worth of water. So it's like, it'll get there, but I have a list of other things to do.
Yeah, plant a tree right there. It'll grow good.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. All right, moving on. I'm 12. Discussion regarding sub-metering and
So,
homeowner associations.
Director Moss lives in a sub-metered
Right.
community over there. And she wanted to have us,
She's interested in a way of, because we send notices to the ratepayers, people in submetering don't get notifications of it. And so she's looking for a way that in these communities,
Mhm.
is there a way that we can also communicate directly to the end user?
Mhm.
Because things.
Do we even know who they are?
well, that's the thing. We don't
Don't.
necessarily. And that one of the things in my experience of these things is that once you start wading into HOA politics, it's a deep,
Mhm.
Mhm.
deep canyon to go down. And that they're all different, and they all have their particular little
What about
parochial
local
interests.
mail lists? And I think she's mentioned that as well, is occupant of apartment 3 at such and such.
We can certainly purchase mail lists by zip code. It's just then we've got to try to parse them out. And maybe a thing to do is to,
And then what would be the cost associated? Because
Right.
we don't really know how many.
Well,
Why-
what is the end game as far as where we want to end up?
some HOAs don't pass along
the
information
Communication.
as well as others.
Right, so it's all just about being able to communicate with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
Why-
for example,
get the
if you
newsletter.
take the town hall meeting that we had,
sure.
that went to ratepayers.
Right.
Okay, so none of the HOA, sub-metering tenants.
Unless the HOA decided to put it on their bulletin board or whatever
Bulletin
they
board or
do.
something.
But they have the right to vote individually.
They do.
You do.
So what about what about putting something in the local paper that directs anybody, basically calls out and says, if you are in,
This situation.
this
yeah,
situation, a
class-
condominium, whatever, that type of a thing, and you don't get a bill directly from, but you want to be,
Kept
um,
abreast.
They can get the
It-
newsletter if they sign up by email.
right, that's what I'm saying is that it didn't drive them to the website to
Yep.
communications, updates, text notifications, all this kind of stuff. So we put it out there and we just say, hey, you can sign up with us to be on our newsletter list to get
Yeah. I
notifications.
think it would be
things.
more important to promote the website because that's
Yeah.
instant. That's the newsletter is every 30 days, but instantly, because I didn't get anything in the town hall for the town hall meeting into newsletters that I recall.
No, we did a special
we-
postcard
We
mailer on
Yeah.
that.
put it,
But
yeah,
again, it only went to the ratepayers.
Yeah.
yes, and that
Yeah.
did go into newsletters.
Well, that's the only mailing list we've
But it
got.
was,
Yeah.
it was instantly on our website.
It's a
with
pretty
all the-
small
the
cohort
live,
too. There's only a handful.
Recording is still there, all of
I'm
that.
just saying that if they register
Yeah.
for the newsletter on the website, that we bring them to the website. And they get the newsletter and anytime we update something and we want to do a push out to everybody who's provided us email
Right.
contact information.
They're on the list.
Then you push out to them and say, come to the website, we've got an update. And then we've created that two-way communication. So you are driving them to the website, but almost like you're going out to tell them to come to the website
Maybe
Right.
later
I'm
on.
not, I'm not sure how you want me to communicate with them I mean, I could.
Well, just if
I
we
could
do a
send an
mass
email to
emailer-
Them every month and say, go to the website, there's always new stuff.
No, if we have to a certain area, they would be in there now in our,
Only if we.
for if we have leaks, it's linked to our GIS, which is to our customers. So that we sort them out by accounts.
Yeah.
So we would then have to know which account they're associated with, they probably won't know. It's gonna be, it's a little tricky, but definitely we could send out communication, say, hey, if you want to keep abreast of things, get on our newsletter list,
Okay.
and here's our website. The
Right.
trick then is we've got to go communicate through the HOA because we don't have a direct relationship with all the people who live in them. We don't know, I guess we put resident at whatever, look at zip.
I don't think that putting a physical mail out to occupants in rooms and buildings is going to do you any good. I think reaching out and having a communication through email that says, here, sign up for our email list. It would apply to people that aren't even in our district that want to know about what's going
We have
on.
those.
We could just have an email list that, that we could tickle when there's something major that comes out, or every month or whatever you wanted to say, we've updated our newsletter. Here, go look at the newsletter. I think the way to do it is manage it through email and electronically instead of trying to
How do
do a
we
paper
notify
copy.
them to sign up? for
How do you
the-
get
Well,
them
that's
initially?
that's my proposal, which is we've got topics that are potentially votable items coming up, right?
Yeah.
And we've got a desire for this group of our ratepayers to be involved and get communication. So if we put an article up in the paper about that to say, listen, that, if you are in this situation, you may not be getting information with regards to really important stuff. And your vote counts because you live in the district, and when things come up for vote, you need to be able to vote on it. So come to our website and sign
There
up for the
there is a
newsletter and
list
sign
that
up
I
for
believe we
email
can get
notifications.
and won't cost us anything.
Oh. Registered voter list?
Registered voter list. And depending on your HOAs, if they have an apartment number, Ahmed can sort.
Ready?
Freddie, yeah.
So maybe
Very
that's
quickly.
something, because I know Tracy, I see Tracy's on it. Cynthia, you'll know. I don't know what our accounts have, like if it's an HOA, is the term HOA in the customer name?
Yeah.
So maybe we can do a search for all of our accounts that are associated with an HOA, figure out those
I can't
addresses.
say that every single one. but
Right.
I know that everyone that I've.
But there's a handful over there by the elementary school.
Yeah.
There's a mobile home parks. The HOA here for Rancho Viejo we don't need because they all have individual meters. It's just the subset.
What
The
about,
Venn diagram here goes
What-
from Rainbow customers.
what
the
about?
mobile
the
home park?
The mobile.
Yeah, mobile home park there and the other one over off Retchie.
Yeah.
The Venn diagram starts getting smaller and smaller. It's like rainbow customers in an HOA, rainbow customer HOA that is sub-metered. I mean, and she's talking about sub-metering. A lot of those aren't even
Yeah.
sub-metered, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Apartment buildings not sub-metered. And so, but I think hers is, and we've dealt with those guys a ton.
Now you have a name, you have an address, and you can basically send a quarterly letter or postcard that reminds them and says, keep abreast of what's going on with your local water district by going to the website and signing up.
So Freddie, you taking notes? Registered voter list, HOA account list, cross-reference those two shape files to see if we get a match. And then see if we can compile a list of customers who don't have meters. Well, they're not customers, they're residents
Residents.
who don't have meters that are in the district area that we want to send a notification, hey, here's how to sign up, join for our newsletter, here's our website, send a postcard.
I think anything we can do to continue to build the amount of people that we have an electronic way to contact them, just with everything that we've already been talking about.
And the only reason I suggest quarterly or have biannually or something is because there's turnover in these apartments. So
Right.
you
True.
don't have to pick them up.
Okay,
We should recruit them to the committees too.
Committee, you have to be a resident. I don't know about a ratepayer. I remember there was a question of non-resident committee members with Helene a while back but if they're residents, then I don't think it says you have to be a customer. I think you have to be a resident.
Resident.
Yeah.
I think it's everybody, all residents within the district.
I know you were saying something about an email blast. We can't do email blasts.
I didn't say email, a postcard
Oh, a postcard blast. Okay.
Yeah.
that directs them to sign up for email notifications.
For the newsletter,
That would only be for the newsletter.
right?
now,
And
there may be
and-
something
and
later.
takes
that
them to
you
the
can
website.
email.
Right. but we don't, when we do leak reports, the way the leak happens is when the guys do a shutdown, the GIS calculates which customers are going to be out, and we notify the customers that are going to be out. At a certain point, the HOA needs to tell their residents, because then those things are going to churn, like unless you use occupant at,
Yeah.
apartment B, 1, 2, 3,
You
4
don't
Main
do it like
Street.
SDG&E? Was your power out last week? Day
Yeah.
before yesterday?
All of a sudden it was just poof, and we were gone.
Car hit pole.
And about,
No, we're back on
About-
fast.
well, mine was out for about 10 minutes and then SDG&E sent me an email that says, you probably noticed your power was out. We wanted to let you know that it's now been restored. If you still don't have any power, call this number.
It wasn't showing on the outage report.
No.
I went to their
I
website.
never got to the outage report.
I listed it. I submitted a ticket,
Uh-huh.
and then I was sitting on the couch and I said, maybe I should look at my box because maybe I'm the only one that has power out right now. And
Yeah,
I was literally going through the IVR system to report it. And as I hit the last button to go to the report,
Lights come on.
the lights came on.
well, I banged on the box, the power came on. I told my family that I
Fixed
fixed
it.
it.
Good job. Like Fonzie with a jukebox. Boom.
And
we
I
were out for 5 hours.
on the box just to get that heavy door back in place because it doesn't want to go back. All right. Anything else on item
All right,
12?
well, we'll
Yeah.
figure out, all of Freddie and Ahmed and Cynthia brainstorm, figure out a way that we can make a list and then.
Okay.
Check
So
it
we'll
twice.
we'll loop back to this one.
Yeah,
I
Then
mean,
we should-
after all, they are customers, even if they're indirect customers. And
Right.
could be communicating with them.
Absolutely. Item 13, the update regarding the district becoming a field trip destination for local schools.
So I
This is
was able
exciting.
to reach out to Joseph
Clevenger.
Clevenger, who is the superintendent for this area. And so he's got quite a few schools under his belt. And he was very excited about the opportunity. What I offered him was for us to then present one of our tours to his staff members so they could give us some feedback and so they could figure out how that would fit into their curriculum for their age group, and that we would adjust those times and topics based on what their feedback is on that.
Yeah, I was trying to think, age group and then how many students per trip.
Yeah.
Because we can't take, like, if you want to go to Rainbow Heights pump station, trying to get a school bus around that tree in the middle of the road that
You
actually.
weren't here last time. What we talked about was just a round robin in the field.
The thing that we did for the
Cover SCADA. cover
kids
oh,
stay,
Communication and customer support.
I see.
really some good stuff, even if we can limit it to, each station being 15 minutes and then it's like
Just
a-
here.
hour
okay,
and
just
fif-
like- okay.
yes, here. In regards to, yes, because the SCADA kind of gives you what you can look at the sites, you can kind of see what's happening to the.
We
with
have the video
tanks and all that.
monitoring.
Even easier, yeah, because the
They-
site, the field visits get tricky.
They love the wastewater thing that we
Sure.
had for the kids stay. So each one of the staff members could just, we could take up.
All right,
each-
great. I missed it.
15
That's the way to do it. 'cause
Yeah, yeah.
I've done these in the
Everything here,
field.
yeah.
The logistics get crazy and then you got a bunch of kids and you got a school bus and it's like, oof.
I remember what a 4-hour tour of the district and we
Yeah.
didn't even cover half. of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Well, we kind of tried one once with
Yeah.
some of you guys. We went
Yeah.
out and it's like, yeah, it's just so much time driving
Yeah.
that, you
I
don't get
think
much
this
out of it.
gives the students more of an opportunity to kind of see what kind of work we do here, what kind of
Right.
service we provide,
And the staff to
the
interact.
staff and.
And it covers everything that you would see in a normal business too. Everything from customer support to accounting,
Warehouse.
operations
Yeah.
to.
The warehouse, everything, yeah.
So when do you think that dry run could be scheduled for the staff?
Probably the new school year, because since
Yeah.
they're wrapping things up and school will be out very
fall.
soon. Yeah, I figured if I touch base with him now, it's something
Be a
that we
good
could
time,
get
yeah.
started.
Is he coming tonight? Are you going to be at the event?
I
tonight?
will be. I'm not sure if he's going to be, but
Oh, I'm getting his ear.
I would imagine
He's
that
in
he
our
will.
Rotary Club. He's my president elect. He'll be right behind me because I start in a month as president again. You tell how
How
much
many
I'm. This
times?
is my second run.
Only
His
second?
last, I'm sure. It's-
Only, I've only been a member since 2015.
Yeah, they saw you coming.
Coming.
Yeah.
I
If
took
you were
pity on the
in
fire
Elks,
chief.
It's
You
like
would have probably done it
CSDA.
5 times.
Yeah, geez Louise.
Okay, moving on.
Yeah, but I just wanted to just
oh, sorry.
point out again, he was very, very excited
Yes,
about this
excellent.
opportunity. So I think that it's going to be probably something that we'll be able to continue year after year.
No, that's great. This is just a great idea.
It is, I agree.
Okay, moving on. Item 15.
Next, I'll put RMW headquarters being a field trip destination
HQ.
because I wasn't here for the last one. So that's
Yeah, we talked about it a lot.
that's good. Well, you came to the right conclusion.
Okay, anything else on item 13?
And I have nothing more to add.
Moving on to item 15. Discussion regarding communication strategies for backflow device removal.
What was the main thing on this?
We've already sent them. We have to do another round. We sent out notices before for people who want their backflows to be removed. But it's just a matter of sending. The backflow program. We come up with people who aren't fixing their testing devices, and so
Yeah, well,
We, go ahead.
question I have is you guys put a backflow device on a system that didn't need one.
there was a board policy
Mhm.
that backflows went on all connections at one point here at Rainbow back in the
You did
day.
it-
Which made
You did it
sense.
last week.
What? We did it last week?
We did?
Yeah, I blame the board though. Go ahead. I like that.
Yeah, last
The-
week.
The palm tree box.
Our guys installed the backflow device.
There's a backflow device installed in it.
I
I thought they were just rerouting it, the line, and they
Our
looked like
guys-
they dug out the tree to a large degree, put in a new meter box and a backflow device. And the meter and backflow device are still in the corner of the road, not at the house.
So this device didn't have a backflow device
Nope.
prior?
well, Robert's
unusual.
still in recovery from surgery, so I won't text him right now. He had knee replacement last Friday.
So my. So I'm going back to our minutes from last month and
Just say Lindo. I don't know the street address for that meter.
Right.
you good?
Yeah.
All right, but going back to the backflow notification is reminding people that have backflow devices that they could opt out.
Right. So we
We did a ton of it during
Investigate
What's Up.
opting out is the key.
We did a bunch
We
of them. during
did,
What's Up.
and one of the things I wanted to make sure that, I know we did some changes or updates to the backflow device
Policy.
language in the admin code.
Mhm.
Is it very clear that they can, they can do it themselves, that
No.
anything like that?
No.
that-
Ryan, I mean, not Ryan, but
We have to be in compliance with
right. The state,
law.
we have to have our certified, why am I having a brain fade on our backflow guy's name right now?
Alex
Alex.
Galloway.
Yeah, Alex has to go out because he has the certification to go do the
Mhm.
certified cross connection
Yep.
and specialist. I think.
He has to go out and,
He has to do an inspection.
But some of
But-
that,
but-
some of that can be resolved with just a phone conversation.
Some of it, yeah,
Pick up
yeah, Google Earth, yeah,
questions,
yeah. But
Sorry, you don't qualify.
but he has to do, yeah, he'll say, do you have a well? Do you inject
Yeah.
chemicals? Do you,
we-
some
we
of the
have- we-
people here,
we
they,
put together a survey. So I think that was one of the things that we talked about. I worked
Yeah.
with the
we did it.
operations staff and said, they said, here's what we would have as a checklist.
Right.
If you this, or this, then you can now then
Right.
qualify.
So
for
we have that.
this.
We can just put another notice out, maybe next month's
And
newsletter.
The only reason I suggest doing it is because the people with those, maybe like me, the newsletter comes in the bill. My wife sees it. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't.
Right.
Right. I think what the ask in the
Yeah.
follow-up was whether or not we could send them something
Yep.
separately,
Separately. Yeah.
either
So all the backflow
mail,
customers.
and with that information and with that question or the survey,
Okay.
or those signed up for electronic billing, if we can email them the same to be really clear that that they do have a backflow device. This is the program. They can opt out and the way they opt out is by answering these questions and then
Right.
what you do next. So
Even though all the calls go to Alex, he's the guy who wants them gone the most because then he doesn't have to test them. Because it's tough to get around and test all those devices,
Mhm.
5,000 of them every year. If we
So
could
some
cut
ki-
500 of them off, that's, hey,
I would, I don't know if you guys want to bring this back, but I would certainly suggest we do it in chunks. I think
Yeah.
we're already pretty overwhelmed with the failures. I've got 90 just on one list and I have 5 lists to do in the next week.
Failures of
That's-
backflow?
People who have a device that
Yeah.
didn't test right, and then we notify them and they're not getting it repaired.
Yeah.
And then that sometimes generates
The shut
the
off.
site
right?
inspection and the shut off. They say, well, I don't need this thing. They go over and say, well,
Yeah.
you got a well,
Yeah.
or whatever the different uses
Yeah,
or
so
booster
maybe in
pump.
Little chunks, we figure out.
Why don't you work with Alex
Okay.
to figure out, because he's motivated to get it down, but he also, we gotta, you gotta eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Right.
Yes,
I would just request that, let's come up with a communication plan on this, right? So if it's going to be a mailer or something that they get sent a letter, it's going to be an email. And if we're going to do it in chunks and we're going to do it over a quarter or whatever, then let's just put that together and then we talk about it.
okay,
Okay. All right.
so we'll bring this back. I'll coordinate with Alex, seeing what he thinks might be good. I'll look at the numbers and see if they're going down. We're not at a place locking off yet.
Right.
But once we get to that place, I think it's gonna probably accelerate quite a bit, the communications that we're getting back and forth.
Yep.
People are being very active in emailing over their test results, all of
Mhm.
that, but I think we still have quite a few that are lingering.
Okay.
Good. Obviously, with 90 on one list, that tells me that probably would not decrease at all.
Well, it's the different cycles that are coming through, and
I just want to make sure that we do everything we can on the communication side before anybody ever gets to the point where they're worrying about a water shut off because of failure to comply, right? And so,
well, yeah, everybody's, yeah, for sure. Oh, by the way, Dawn just texted me. She's watching on our new YouTube live channel. So everybody wave to Dawn and say, hi, Dawn.
Hi.
She said it looks good. She said, Freddie, it
have
looks
a
fuzzy. but-
YouTube live channel. That's nice. Okay, anything else on this? So we're going to loop back to this.
Yep.
Okay, we deferred item 16 to this month for you, Russ, because you weren't able to make the last call. So this was the call volume update. You had asked for more detail on this.
Yeah. I don't remember what. I did have a recent experience where someone called and said they would take a call back and never got a call back. So now, are we tracking how many calls we're getting or that kind of stuff?
Yes,
Must
I
be.
always track that. Also, Russ, that's an automatic. I haven't seen the system not work. Maybe they missed the call. Basically, what the system does is that the minute that the customer states that they would like a call back, they stay on my queue. And I can see them as a caller, and it will say this caller has asked for a call back. The minute any one of my reps are then available, it starts ringing them.
Yeah, well, I don't know why it didn't work. That's all I can tell you, because
No answer.
it was to a cell phone and it's
Side?
always on her. So
Callback side, if we call and there's no answer, does it go back in the queue or is it dropped from the queue?
I don't know. You guys have.
If there's no answer.
If the customer doesn't
like
pick
a-
up.
Like, doesn't have a voicemail?
No,
No.
it went into a queue for a rep to talk. They
Yeah.
would leave a message, wouldn't they?
No,
So let's say.
they
you're-
say, if you call, we test it, and you say, would you like a call back? Yes, then press 2.
Right, but
Boom.
then when it rings back and the
Back.
customer service rep is waiting and nobody picks up on the other end, what happens to it when the customer service rep, do they leave a message?
Or it goes to voicemail?
Or it goes to voicemail?
Do they leave a message?
They would most likely leave a message.
But
This is
then-
the water district calling you back.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Right.
missed you.
Yeah.
Please call back, something like that.
Yeah.
Right?
The reason I asked the question is we monitor our landline, which is 99% spam.
Yeah.
The automated systems there, if it goes to voicemail, it hangs up.
Right.
And I don't know whether our system will do that.
Would hang up maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, does it only,
recognizes
does it
it.
only ping the customer service rep when there's a live person on the line, or does the customer service rep hear it ringing? I've not experienced it.
I don't-
The system basically takes the information that customer wants a call back and keeps it so that I can see who's asking for
Mhm.
callbacks. And I will see that once a rep is free, it immediately rings them. And it goes back into basically ringing customer service reps that are free until it gets
Yeah,
somebody.
but what we're asking is the mechanics is it dropped off to the customer service rep? Are they hanging on the line for an answer?
No, they're getting a call back.
No. So the system decides it's going to call the customer, right? It initiates a phone call to the
Yeah,
customer.
yeah.
Does the customer service rep get put on the line while it's ringing or after a customer picks up?
No, it starts ringing. The customer service,
So it
rep
rings,
Hears it ring.
yes.
you can hear the other part, the customer's phone ring, 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 ring,
So-
ring.
So
Then,
it's
"Hi,
the
this is
customer
John.
service rep that determines if there's no answer or voicemail to either leave a voicemail or hang up. And they clear the call at that point in time.
That would be clear, yes, that if they didn't get a live person, they would leave a voicemail.
Okay.
And if neither happened,
And if there's no answer, they clear the call.
Yeah, I'm sure it just drops from a few.
I wouldn't know because I don't think I've ever called
Oh,
a house in the past 20 years that didn't have a voicemail.
There-
But I'm not sure what my
Oh, the voicemail-
younger staff members would think
Hey.
if it just rang and rang and rang and rang and rang. They would probably hang up.
Well, it could be the voicemail, but the tape's full.
A call waiting.
Oh, we
you
have people say that we didn't call them, and my customer service reps will put a note on it. Their voicemail was full. Those people, and I can't tell you how many times that has happened. That I have even gotten emails with people very upset that they did not get a call
It's
back.
because they make it so hard to change your password on your voicemail and you just decide to never
Who
check them
does
again.
that? You
It's
have
just
them
delete.
electronically
It's
on
just
your
delete.
phone. You just delete them. Who has a
No,
password?
no.
Well,
it's
landline.
More complicated than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So-
call
so-
volume update.
yeah,
Yes.
What's the update
How
on
many-
volume?
So that's the first time I've heard, Russ, please, if you know who that is and they haven't been addressed, please have them go ahead and email me directly and I will go ahead and take care of that.
okay.
So where are our call volumes going? Up or down?
So let me
Up
go
and
ahead
down.
and share my screen. I can show you how I log the information in. I can show you some of the raw data as well. And I have to share my screen. All right. Freddie, where is that on this? Is it in the? Oh, okay, thanks. That's just staring right at me.
Yeah, it's that thing that
I
says share screen.
had everything closed. I want to share the list first, so. Here,
There we go.
I want this one. Okay. And I don't know
Oh,
why
I gotta
it's
get my,
low, but well, it looks kind of
It's bigger over there.
small. Okay. All right, so here's the actual raw data. So I pulled it for May. And you just go in and grab basically all of the previous months agent activity. And so each one of our agents is listed. Let me get you guys out of my screen there. Each one of them are listed here. And then all of the information on how quickly they wrapped up, how quickly they were handled, the talk time, that kind of stuff. What I do is I convert this into a monthly outlook
Sure.
on the actual maximum time in the queue, the average time in the queue, and the average talk time. And then I sort it so that we know which one of our staff actually took the most calls, and each one of them individually in regards to their average talk time. Just gives us insight. We don't have any real restrictions on what the average talk time should be. I believe that when we have time and if customer needs a great deal more detail, I don't want to stop them short of.
Well, you
being
have the
able
data,
to-
you could basically, even today, if you needed to go back and do the historical averages over the last 6 months or year or whatever. so you have the
Absolutely.
data.
So
I-
is the,
As
is
a
the,
board member, I have a request. Could you include something similar to this and receive and file
Our monthly reports.
in the?
Oh, yeah,
report?
we could do that.
I don't know if we want to put the names of each customer service rep. in
No,
there, but
more
more
the,
summary?
the summary of all of
Yeah.
this raw
Yeah,
data.
I would take probably all of this right here, just this piece that they
Yeah.
handled 910
Yeah.
calls, the average talk time was this. And that's probably it, just these two right here.
I'm not interested in, and I don't think
How,
members would be interested in the individual performances, but you know,
Yeah.
the
how
characteristics.
is the time in queue calculated? If I opt to have a call back, is the whole time between when I called initially and when I get a call back in queue, or is it just the time I'm actually on the phone waiting?
Only, no, actually in the queue, the actual time that you're waiting,
Wait.
not
Okay.
callback.
Do you have a?
So
copy?
somebody waited 27 minutes and 28 seconds to talk to somebody? That's
That
what that
was
tells
the
us?
longest one, yes.
there are some people who just don't want you to call them back.
Yeah,
But the other thing that would be of interest if you have it is time in queue and the callback time, you know, typical callback reporting time. In other words, what's our what's our typical callback wait period? Is it 30 minutes? Is it 40 minutes?
Do we have that data?
They
Maybe Ahmed
said, I
should-
wanted to have a callback and when.
Freddie, you taking notes for
Yeah.
Ahmed? Because I think Ahmed set this one up. Did you set it up? I can't remember. See if he can suss that data out of there. What was the average wait for a callback period?
I mean, this is all good stuff and, you know, I think particularly, I know as a board member, I'd be interested in understanding the metrics of our customer support. And it's,
yeah, this is good. Thank you.
Yeah, actually Tracy's the one that put this all together and I just took it over.
Okay,
since then.
Tracy, I see you on, the oh,
I
she's just
know.
got her photo up there. She may have stepped out of her office. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm here. Thanks,
Yeah.
Cynthia.
It is very helpful, like in projecting, you know, or at least, you know, being able to project out that like this information right here, once we started lockoffs, this was the highest actual time in the queue and the highest average time and since 2020.
Yeah, it was a busy few days in here with
Yes.
people, the lockoff started.
Yeah.
Because people standing here.
Because it had been
I
2
mean,
years.
because they were also lining up at the counter. And so then we got one person who can't take a call.
Yeah.
And we don't keep a huge staff of customer service reps because we're trying not to just, we don't want them sitting around twiddling their thumbs and it's comes a
Yeah.
balancing act. They have to pay somebody else to sit there so that we can drive it from 3 minutes to 1 minute. Or do we, you know, it's all about balancing.
you know.
Well, and
Well,
without-
and
without
one
all
one of the
you can't
things
even-
that I manage as well, which is, you know, for us to have any of our staff working at home, the person at the office is to take the least amount of calls for that day.
Right.
So that they can
People
focus
in the
on
office.
the-
processing payments and helping staff. They have been consistently every single day, and I check that daily and I record all of that, have been taking the majority of the calls.
The
So they are
Person here, the
the
person
person
remote.
at home.
Right, right.
the
Well, they
people
don't
at
have
home.
somebody at the front counter.
Yeah,
talking to them. Yeah,
exactly,
so that's-
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Now, is there a way to, I know that we've started talking about surveying post-call and things like that, but is there anything in the system when the call is completed that says whether or not that the reason for that call was successfully handled, you know, that it was a positive outcome, or if it's still open, that, or anything like that, that,
No,
okay.
no, there isn't.
This isn't the Cadillac of systems.
Can't get no satisfaction, huh? You
Although-
call me all you want, but I won't tell you if you're satisfied.
Although it is
Answer
it
your
is a
question.
very good system, unfortunately, there is
Can-
just,
Can the agent leave a note such as closed, still open?
They'll make notes on the account as to what they.
we make
resolve.
notes on the account, but you know, as you can see, well, in the last couple of days, you know, one, we only have 2 customer service reps because the other one was on vacation. The thing is, I couldn't guarantee that was going to be something we could implement and guarantee it's going to happen every single time.
Okay.
So yesterday and
done it.
today, we would have up to 5 people in the queue. I have 2 people on the line. I could see that the agents were already talking to somebody, and then I was picking up calls. And those ones that have really significant notes, like this person asked for this, I need the field staff to follow up, and those notes need to go in, even if they disputed something, but we took care of it, those go into the account. But just putting a resolution as, yes, it was handled, no, it wasn't.
Well, and-
It's a bit of a thing to go in there and do a
Okay.
log.
Sometimes
and
a
set
customer
it.
service rep thinks it's handled, but the customer doesn't.
Yes.
That's-
So,
that-
Whose
that's-
opinion are we recording?
Well, most of our reps are more than happy to send the customers to
Yeah.
me if they
Right.
escalate. I do have the ability. I'm sorry, we don't have a person in the call, but I can listen. I do that. When I see that the call has gone longer than maybe 8-10 minutes, I will listen to the call and see if it's something that I can help with. I Teams then the customer service rep if it's just something I can put in. One was a Flume device today, and she says, I don't remember if it's a $49 annual fee still or not. I Teamsed her, said, nope, flat $49. I listened to her and said, oh, it says right here that there's no longer a yearly subscription. So, when I see things like that, where it could be something that might get escalated, I try to jump in if I can. I'm also got a lot of things going on, but when I definitely down one customer service rep, I'm watching a
Okay.
little more to support that.
What is,
Um,
what is Whisper?
So Whisper is actually, I can speak to the customer service rep
Okay.
on the line, but I think that's a little too confusing when
Yeah.
you're listening
Two
to it. So
voices.
Teamsing and
Yeah, we
having
chat
that pop up
teams a lot.
works very well. And I've actually used it, so I know it works well. And not only that, when I Teams, that information goes to all the other customer reps. And so when it's something like that, they're like, oh, thank you. Good. We all know this now.
So you're like the booth talking to the anchor.
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly. And I can barge in by actually
Taking over
then
the call.
stating, yes, when I have a customer who's being maybe
Oh,
a
Corinne's
little
getting a call.
little difficult, I can go ahead and
Like Jan Yarick is
barge in.
calling. With
So
the
this is where you can
415
see
area
that that
code.
customer is active. If they were to ask for a call back, this is where I would see that they're no longer active, but they've asked for a call back. And then what I can do is I go over, and once I see that any one of the reps, when they're all listed here, that phone is ringing them. Once they're available, that caller then shows that they're ringing the agent.
Cool.
415, that's San Francisco, isn't it? Oh, where's 415 area code?
All right. Anything else on call volume update? I think this
Medic.
is a good insight
Yeah.
for us, and
Thank
obviously
you.
action item for the summary
Yeah.
for the board. That's great.
And Tom, would that be something that you'll let me know what kind of data you want in that, or?
Yeah. We'll talk to Tracy because it'll go in with all her other reports.
Okay,
And figure out how to fit it in there.
okay.
It's not much different than the water use report in this.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Item 17, committee member recruitment update.
Well, there's a potential one sitting out in the lobby right now.
No, this was more of our recruitment efforts.
Effort.
rather than
Oh,
actual.
Well,
We
I
were
think-
gonna
I
put,
think Tom's bragging that he actually did some.
oh
recruitment
no,
efforts.
I was showing him the agenda. He said he has to man the post there, but
okay, well, that's good. I want a name. But we had talked about
A flyer type of
a
thing.
flyer or something in the paper talking about the different committees, what they do, that they're looking for members. Anybody can apply.
Press release.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I've done it so many times in the newsletter that I know we had talked about something where actually maybe some input from some of the current committee members
Mhm.
on
Quotes.
the value of that, what they've gotten
Quotes.
out of quotes. Yes, out of that, I would love to have that in a press release.
Okay, so we
Because
need
it
quotes.
doesn't seem to be effective just saying, hey, we need people. I think that having some information about how effective it's been for them
Okay,
to
so
be part of the district
Members
in
or
that
the
way.
chairs of the
Yeah.
committees.
yeah, get a hold of Flint. He can probably give us some quotes.
Okay,
Okay,
should I
We'd
send an
also
email
talked
just?
about like a three-fill handout that we could use at avocado festival.
Oh, yeah.
You don't need a ton of them, but
Yeah.
Right.
it's, somebody says,
We got to put them at the front.
I think
desk.
those,
yeah,
I
front
think those
desk.
quotes would be really helpful in that
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
I mean,
What do the committees do? How can you be involved? What do you need to do?
Yep.
Just answer the.
90% of life is showing up.
that's right.
Speaking of which, I'm probably gonna drop off when you get somebody else to replace me, so.
What?
I got vacations coming up.
Yeah.
Russ,
See.
Russ.
Sarcasm works better in person, buddy.
Yeah. We'll hold those comments.
That's what you get for not being here.
Okay,
All right,
so
so
we're gonna send a note out to the chairs asking for either quotes or
yeah, so
or
it'll
from
just
their
be you
members.
and since Russ is he
It's
the
both.
chair on both? And
Well,
well,
we
just
get
to
some of the-
coordinate the requests for quotes. They don't have to
Yeah.
come from the chairs. They can come from
Yeah,
committee on the
okay,
committee. right?
okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, a few board members who are on committees, 3 of them.
We're supposed to be silent partners.
That's true. It's true.
Okay. All right, and then you're gonna reel in our volunteer in the lobby.
Yes.
Okay. Because we need Russ off the committee. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I believe somebody else. Oh,
He's listening,
I know.
He can hear us, even though he's in cyberspace.
Kidding. All right, anything else on item 17? Public, item 18, public communications and related media stories.
I have
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Well,
Rainbow
Hayden said he had something
Washington
too.
Post.
What?
Whoa. The AP article got picked up by the Washington Post. May 31st, I believe it was, or May 30th. Forget which one. The one that she did an article on water in the West and detachment particularly.
did you have a copy that you can share with the committee?
I don't have one on me, but I can get one.
You're gonna say, I don't subscribe to the
I
Washington
don't either.
Post for obvious reasons.
Darren sent me the link.
Lady newspaper.
I got a quote on it. It was along the lines of, after talking to her about many things. She also quoted Jason Kendall, who runs Kendall Farms up in the Rainbow area.
Mhm.
And then mine was, water is a terrible business to be in because you have to promote people use less of your product and then charge them more for it. I'm like, that's what you took out of it. But it was a
It's so
discussion of
true.
the challenges and the cost of water. It's like, it also got picked up by other, because an AP article, it picked up a lot of things, but the Washington Post was one of them. So I think it's our first national story. So,
Cool.
That's a good quote, Tom. I just found it.
whoa, yeah. So Freddie just texted me the AP one, but it's also in the Washington Post. I
You're
got it.
trending on Twitter right now.
I don't know about that. I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
if you didn't have any fixed
I'll
costs, you wouldn't
find
have
the
to raise
Washington
rates.
Post link. I mean, it's on the AP's website too, but it did. I'll find it because one of our PR guys sent it to me from the Washington Post because I'm like, oh, I knew AP did it. But
Okay.
then I was on Channel 10 News. Was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. I think it was last night. I think what it is today, Thursday. Hold on. What day did I do that thing? Gosh, the days just kind of
But-
merged together.
My wife says something, she said it's city of San
Yesterday.
Diego on water shutoffs with the restrictor valves.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was something on the news recently and she said they had a report where they installed the restrictor valve and turned on the faucet in the sink and then drip, drip.
Well, that's one people for the shutoffs they're putting just so they can get a little bit of water.
Yep.
Where's that at, Hayden?
Pardon?
Where was that at?
She saw it on the news. She did not qualify which news, but I'm sure it was
Okay.
local news and we probably watched CBS more than anything else.
It was
And I
Channel
can
10,
probably
ABC, 6
name-
o'clock was lead off story on the 6
Yeah.
o'clock news on the local news on ABC.
There's-
I'm waiting to get the link to the video. It just
Okay.
happened last
I
night.
think
You
there's,
have to flush the toilet 20 times to get to work.
I think there's only 2 or 3 in, under the San Diego County Water Authority, the agencies that are using the flow restrictors.
Yeah. We've talked about it, but it hasn't become as
Mm.
big an issue yet.
The,
But there's also, we comply with the state law
what
on
was
on
the
notification.
Channel 10 news the report that you were on? I'm sorry, I interrupted.
The person had seen the AP article
Oh,
and did something along the lines and they showed it. It was fair enough. They got somebody from the water authority also talking about the drought, and the water authority is running a real fine line here about, we've got these super reliable supplies because our high priority rights from the Colorado River. And like, we don't have to do anything, but anybody who's seen, they're pulling barrels with dead bodies out of Lake Mead here that are now, that used to be under 150 feet of water, they're now on the surface. It's a little bit of a challenge. And so it's to say that the fact that they've got some higher priority rights on the Colorado means we can all just water away just doesn't quite square with the reality of the situation. And so
Or
they're
the governor saying, I don't care how much water rights you have, you're going to cut back 20%.
well, exactly. The state board has said so. They says you can't just look at the Colorado and say I'm good, because look at the Colorado, I mean, and we can all see that it's even more plainly visible than California stuff because it's so noticeable. And so they're playing a fine line here. We'll have more information coming out because the state board has created new rules. We have to go to our level 2 stuff, which we already comply with most of their requirements, if not all of them, from what we did last fall. And so we're in good shape, but it's coming. If things don't change, it's coming to where there's going to be some mandates. But the story they did on Channel 10 was about detachment, water costs generally. And, the Water Authority says it'll cost a lot of money for people. And we said, no, it'll be between 1.5 and 2% of their reduction in their annual revenue, which is true. So what's a lot of money? So it was a fair enough article. And then they said there's going to be hopefully the report done by the end of summer for LAFCO. And so once I get the link, and I haven't looked through my email here in a little while for the Channel 10. No, yeah. Oh, you got the Washington Post one. All
So you
right.
can send that out to the committee members.
Yeah, and if you can
Send it to
that me,
Cynthia.
Tom, so I can
Send it
make
to
sure I get
Cynthia,
it in
then she can get it around to the committee.
website.
The Washington Post one. I mean, it's an AP reporter.
Other media stories? Local?
Yeah, there was, the Village News had a very nice write-up on the town hall. I think it was the May 12th issue of the
Yep.
Village News. It was front page and continued on to follow-on page.
And was LAFCO in just a few days ago?
Yeah,
but it was
something
a
on the
different
front
topic,
page
right?
on the site. I didn't get a chance. to
The
read that.
Fallbrook's doing that community benefit thing. They had a protest hearing on that.
That's what it was.
And they had to reschedule it, right?
Right.
Did they have to reschedule?
They had to
They had some
reschedule.
bad
That's why it was in the newspaper.
Oh.
Some people didn't get their
Notification in time.
votes. So, okay. Anything else?
There'll probably be another a letter to the editor coming out in another couple days to the Village News, or a press release related to detachment, but that's something that's being put together by the detachment media team.
You mean there's a deadline? We're going to find out when they're going to vote on that?
I wish,
Don't hold your.
I wish.
Well, I was reading, I don't know if it was the LA Times or what it was, but they were talking about the water authority up there and some of the mandates that they were starting to roll out. And they had a very interesting quote from a retiree who, had a very drought tolerant yard and did a lot of gardening. And, his point was he was a little angry at the nature of the ask, and that, if you aren't going to put restrictions on other things,
Mhm.
it's pretty tough. And if you don't understand, drip irrigation, or you don't understand all these alternative ways to take care of things, then some of these, whether you water on a certain day based upon your odd or even, or all these other kinds of things. So I just think those things we should be keeping in mind as we get closer to having to do any additional communications. I think there's lots of, I know we have a lot of information on the website about, ways to conserve water and to change things
Yeah.
around, but I think it begs to repeat and put out best practices with regards to how people can reduce their water usage.
See, the problem we
Still,
have here, yeah,
It's did not impact, and lose things that they may.
we sell 40% of the water we sold 15 years ago. The problem with, especially in Southern California and California in general, is we're not going to conserve our way out of this drought because our water use has been going down as our population's been going up. Somebody put a thing in the Times like, how could they be building new houses? Because well, the way I look at it, people and water use is an inverse relationship. So we should build more houses. Our water use will go down further. You know, I mean, if you use that sort of
Well, this
theological thing.
article I was reading, they were saying that the water usage, and this was up in LA, since the last drought had gone up like 30%. I mean, it was a big number. I mean, it was not that but again, heavy metro population.
Yeah, isn't it because we're most agriculture, or what used to be most agricultural, while the consumption's gone down while the population's gone up here? Isn't that what
Per
you're
capita
saying?
consumption is down, yeah. So there was an editorial came out today from the Bay Area News Group and the Mercury News. And it's something I've been chiming in with a bunch of different leaders on Twitter about how just look, each year export almond use a couple million acre feet of water for export.
That's
And because of transit problems, last year's crop sitting there rotting.
Mhm.
So we blew like 2-3 million acre feet of water on that. All of Southern California uses like 1.5 million acre feet a year.
Yeah.
So just for export almonds, we use like double of all of Southern California for a crop that's going offshore.
Yeah,
And
we're
so
shipping the water out.
we're shipping the water out, and there were 2000, I think it was 12 or 16 studies showed there's 19 million acre feet of water gets exported out of the state every year. And so that's way more than all the urban users ever. And so at a certain point, the state's got to go, yeah, you can keep coming to us in the urban area and say, ag guys, we're not touching you. And our ag guys are paying for it. I mean, our ag guys are not the problem. It's the people who are, and we're not exporting a lot of crops out of here. They need to start looking at the uses of water and not just always making it, hey, you got to rip your lawn out. You got to do this, you got to do that. Cause we're a tiny cohort.
And
The
that's
big cohort is what they're not touching. And so they're starting to get a move on that. I've been pushing it on Twitter to people and copying the chair of the board of the State Water Resources Board, on that stuff, and Department of Water Resources, all those guys. And now we're starting to get some traction on. There's a couple different people, and we're trying to push that narrative. Like, hey, conservation only goes so far here, people. We have to look at the whole picture, because, they talk about the Bay Delta being under stress. Well, look at the Colorado River Delta.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. It doesn't exist anymore. Go drive across the river at Yuma and then drive across at Laughlin and take a look at it. It's stark. And a lot of that water is getting shipped out of the country as alfalfa.
Yeah.
And so it's,
Buy more almonds.
it's, they say, well, they'll just grow cotton or something like that. It's like, well, the market's not going to sustain that, and at a certain point,
And you need to evolve. You can't do it overnight.
California started out, there was abundant water, but they've completely modified the Central Valley to where there was a town that sunk a foot in the last year because they're pumping so much groundwater out. You just can't do that forever.
No.
And there's a bunch of people making a ton of money on stuff. The public trust doctrine says the waters of the state should be put to the beneficial uses of the state, which include environmental and people and things like that, and business. But the only people who really benefit from the export crops like that, the big, massive mega farm, is the rich guy living in Beverly Hills who's running the thing. Resnick, a guy named Resnick's one of them. And it's not benefiting the people, and it's actually hurting all the rest of us in a big way. And so the state doesn't like to fight it. The politicians, there's a farm lobby that's out there pushing them not to touch it. It's like,
Probably big contributions by
Yeah.
those large growers.
Well,
And-
this was the quote from that article up in LA, which was, what about the grapes? What about the almonds?
Yeah.
What about all these other things?
Exactly. And so they're starting to get I hope a groundswell on that. And we started, hey, because we're scrutinized in our use up the wazoo, but there's some places in IID and up in all the Central Valley where they're just drill them as far as you can and pump as hard as you can and take the whole river. I mean, the Kern River doesn't flow into Bakersfield anymore. It's just a sandy nothing, except for when there's a big storm.
Storm.
The whole river is gone.
Well, I would just restate that whatever we can do to talk about best practices,
Right.
whether it's modifying how and when you water, whether it's using mulch and compost and all these other types of things. There's lots of things that we can do in our
Yep.
community that we'll use less water and still take care of what we need to take care of. So that's
Yeah.
all. But
Yeah, most people.
I'll second that. I think, encouraging people to do best practices
Right.
is the right way to
Coming
go.
out here in the newsletter that talks about the drought and what they can do and gives them pointers. It's not a full on, landscape modification tips. So we can do that next month. We've done it
Well,
before.
you can put it on the website. You have links to
We
it.
kind of did that, but yeah, everything that goes in the newsletter, I make sure is on the website as well. and vice versa, so that they can convert back and, take a look at the website if they're like, I lost the newsletter. But last month was May water awareness month, and so the entire the entire newsletter was all the programs, all the practices, all the websites you can go to basically get free
Water audit.
free to
West-
low cost,
yeah. Mulch.
access to all sorts of things, including rain barrels and mulch and worming. And I mean,
Yep.
they have so many at the Solana Beach thing and
El Corazon and over in Oceanside.
yeah.
That's the-
Water costs, everybody's water bill is so high. I don't know many people who aren't focused on their landscape irrigation. a bit.
Everybody that I've talked to is concerned about the conservation orders coming down, and they're
We can't
saying
cut
the
anymore.
same thing that Tom's basically saying. After me being here for 15, 20 years, 5 years, I'm using 50% less water. I can't, there's nothing I can do to conserve anymore.
Right.
Everybody is really tight on their water.
Right.
And we rarely see, people, I live in the area. I don't see very often any runoff or, anything like
It's
that.
liquid gold going down the street.
Street, yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Any other?
And
items?
Fallbrook was
comments?
doing that on Olive Hill at noon today.
what's that?
I don't know, they had some sort of construction progress and were stopped in one lane traffic and look out the window and there's just a,
Well, they're probably draining a line or something, yeah, or flushing a line. Yeah, too. But
Anything else on 18?
No.
Okay, item 19, list of suggested agenda items, the next scheduled meeting.
so we're gonna bring back something on HOA outreach and then the backflow,
Backflow,
about
yeah.
14. Yeah.
I'd like to see something on best practices for water conservation.
We just grab your
12, I
April.
think we're,
What type of thing are you
I'd
looking?
like to see what it is we're telling people, that's all.
All right, we can just bring the newsletter from
Yeah.
previous month.
Sure,
Yeah.
I can bring a list of our.
Take us a walk through the website where that
Mhm.
stuff is.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Excellent.
those might need to be moved up in the.
And do we have to talk
Comparison.
about conservation communications or anything? Put
We
that-
may, because the state had their draft regs come out. They're supposed to be official next week. There's some. I hear there might be some changes coming. We don't know. We're waiting for them. Then we'll have the board take whatever appropriate action will happen at the June meeting. So in July, then that'll become communication. There's some agencies who got ahead of using the
Yes.
drafts.
very much.
But some of those things, actually, the draft that was proposed at the state board hearing, they changed it from the dais.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm just waiting until the, finalized, 'cause,
Finalized,
you
yeah.
So
know,
let's just have that on the agenda.
yeah, so we can update
We're
for our
just-
drought
we're just
outreach.
Dipping our toe in it right now on this one, just take, like you
Super
said,
generic.
here are the practices you should always do, whether or not there are any conditions
Yeah.
on this. It is best practices that should be.
Yeah, there's a
put in
bullet list
place
of
all
things
the
you
time.
shouldn't do. And
Yeah.
And then we want to bring 17 back.
yes.
Okay,
Are we gonna have any feedback on the submetering issue?
That was the HOA stuff that Tom was
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah,
we
check-
wanted to
we'll
bring
we'll have
back.
these guys see if we can
If
cross
they can-
reference the data
yeah,
and see what we can put
take back
together.
and figure out.
Just a quick update. It doesn't need to be detailed.
Okay.
Yeah, what data sources are available, how we're gonna cross reference them.
Yep.
How many, is this
Yeah.
200 letters or is this 110? Is it?
Yeah.
I mean, Pam, because she's one of
It's in
them.
that boat.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
she should run for HOA board.
Oh,
They don't pay per diem.
I think unless there's any other comments or questions, at 4:49, we are adjourned.
Cool.
All right,
Bye.
thank you.